Hello, dear students of 9th standard. I welcome you all for the YouTube classes. Today, I start the economic section, chapter 2, human resources of India. Human resource, it is also one of the important resources of the country. Here, like natural resources, natural resources are there. Like natural resources, population is also considered as a resource of the country or the wealth of a country. The people living in a country constitute the population of that country. The people who are living in the country, they are called as the population of that country, which consists of children, adults, senior citizens. Those under the 14 years are considered as children. Under the 14 years are considered as children, and those between 15 to 60 years, they are considered as adults. 15 to 60 years age group people are considered as adults, and those above 60 are considered as the senior citizen. Those who are above 16 years of age, they are identified as a senior citizens. Like in a population, three categories are classified, three categories are made. The first one is children. Those who are below the 14 years are the children, and those between the 15 to 60 years are considered as a adult, and those people above the 60 years are identified as a senior citizens. Here adults are capable of working and they form the national wealth. Here only the adults between 15 to 60 years age group people, they are capable of working. They have a capacity, they have a strength, they have a capacity to work, and they form the national wealth. The people with knowledge, skill, abilities form the natural resources, human resources of that country. So the people with the knowledge, skill and abilities form the human resources of the country. Since the population of adults is more in India, there is an increase in the workforce. There is an increase in the workforce. Here workforce means those who are between the 15 to 60 years. That is the working force. So today the working force is increasing day by day. Here there is an increase in the workforce. If the good education, training, health facilities are provided to human resource, they can transformed into human capital. They are transformed into the human capital. When they are transformed, when they are provided good education, good health facilities and good training facilities, they transform. They can be transformed into the human capital. They possess capability to increase the national income and transform society. That is, the population is an asset. So population is called as a asset of the nation because they increase the national wealth, national income, and also they transform the society. So population is considered as a wealth or asset of the nation. Now population as a resource. Why population is called as a resource? We can observe around us that working capability of healthy, educated and trained people is more. Generally we observe whose working ability is more. Here who are good educated, who are healthy and who are trained, their working ability is more. than the untrained, illiterate and illness people, unhealthy people. The nation's income increases due to this. Here today the nation's income increases because of the capable people, because of the capable human resource. When human resource is knowledgeable, educated, healthy and trained, it is asset, it becomes the asset and it also increase the income of the nation. Here working people are called, are considered as a nation's human resource. So the workforce is called as a nation's human resource, because without human resource, among all the resources, human resource is very important. Without human resources, we cannot exploit the other resources. Other resources will get value only with the help of the human resource. Therefore, human resource is very important and is very essential. Here, human resource occupies greater importance in the production of goods and services. In the production of goods and services, here human resource occupies the greater importance, because without human resource, without human skill, without human capability, we cannot produce any goods and services. Then, so human resource has a greater importance than the natural resources and the material resources. Human resources provide the skills and workforce needed for the production. The people who are in various jobs in the field of agriculture, industry, service sector are referred as the workforce. The workforce means the people who are engaged in agriculture, who are engaged in industry, and some people are engaged in the service sector. They are considered, they are referred as the workforce. Now the human resource conduct new research to provide better facilities to the people. They undertake new research for what purpose? To provide better facilities to the people. For example, electricity, that is the research, that is the one research. Electricity, television, computers, mobiles and fast moving vehicles are all the contributions of the human resource. These are all the contributions of the human resource. Because of the human resource, it conduct new research. Due to the research of the human resource, we are producing the electricity, we are producing the television, computers, mobiles, fast moving vehicles are there. So these are all the contributions of human resource. And India's large population was considered as a burden. Still now India's large population was considered as a burden, but now it is being viewed as a resource. But today it is being used as a resource, because Indian population is growing at a faster rate, very faster rate. So it is considered as a burden, but now it is being viewed as a resource. It is possible to convert the people into the productive asset by providing good education. How we have to convert the people into the productive asset? By providing the good education, by providing training facilities, and also by providing health facilities to all the people. We can convert the people into the productive unit or the productive asset when we provide all these facilities. So today government is giving all these facilities to all the citizens of a country. Today government is providing good education facilities to the children, and it is giving training facilities, and government is also providing the health facilities to all the people of the country. in order to improve the health condition, knowledge and skills of the people, the government is struggling hard. However, it is better if the population of a country is not huge. Now, the important characteristics of India's population. The first one is the large size and fast growth. Here, the characteristics of population includes features related to its size, composition, density, growth and quality of the population, etc. To have a basic understanding of population problems of the country, one should have complete the knowledge regarding the basic features of the population. Now, the important features or the characteristics of India's population are large size and fast growth. India with the population of 121.1 crore in 2011. According to the 2011 census, the population of a country was 121.1 crores. It is the second most populous country in the world next to China. It is the second most populated country in the world next to China. Every sixth person in the world is an Indian. Every sixth person in the world is an Indian. Every sixth person is an Indian. Like the Indian population is growing with a faster rate. The rate of growth of population has been higher in our country, with the population growing at the rate of 1.8% per annum. Per annum, how much it is growing? It is rising 1.8%, and population equivalent to that of Australia is added every year. Population equivalent to Australia is added to in our Indian population every year. This situation is called as population explosion. That type of increase in the population, growth in the population is called as the population explosion. By 2022, India will be the most populous country in the world. By 2022, India is one of the most populous country in the world, because the growth rate of Indian population is very fast. So, by 2022, India will be the most populous country in the world. Now, second feature, second stage of the demographic transition. India is now passing through the second stage of demographic transition, where the death rate is lower. Here today, the death rates are decreasing and birth rates are higher, leading to the high population growth. Here, the death rates are lower and birth rates are higher. It is leading to what? It is leading to the high population growth. Birth rate in 2010 was 22.1 and death rate was only 7.2 per thousand population. Here the birth rate in 2010 was 22.1 and death rate was only 7.2 per thousand people. In per thousand people, only 7.2 dies in per thousand, implying net addition about 15% population per thousand, which is very quite high. That is second stage of demographic transition. It is because of the low death rates and high death rates. Now, the rapidly rising density. Rapidly rising density. Density of population. Density of population means people living in 1 per square kilometer. Number of people living in 1 square kilometer is called as the density of population. In India, India is one of the most densely populated countries of the world with 382 persons per square kilometer in 2011 census. According to the census conducted in 2011, 382 persons are living in 1 per square kilometer in India. So, in our country, the density of population, there is a rapidly rising density is there, and India occupies 2.4% of the total land area of the world, but supports 16.7% of the total world population. It supports only 16.7% of total world population. At the same time, another important feature of our Indian population is that unfavorable sex ratio. Here there is no equal sex ratio. Sex ratio is unfavorable. Here sex ratio refers to number of females per 1000 males. Number of females per 1000 males is the sex ratio. Here it was 943 in 2011, which is unfavorable to females. It is unfavorable to the women's. That is unfavorable sex ratio. It means according to 2011 census, only 943 female population to every 1000 population. So that is unfavorable to female population. Now, bottom heavy age structure. Age composition of Indian population is bottom heavy. It implies that ratio of person in age group 0 to 14 is relatively high. Ratio of the persons in age group 0 to 14 is high. According to 2011 census, children below 14 years were 30.7%. Children below 14 years are how much? 30.7%. This leads to high dependency ratio. It leads to the high dependency ratio because every year here 30.7, that is the children, here the children below 17 years were 30.7%, and that is leading to the dependency ratio, means 30.7% population is depending on the workforce. So that is a burden on the workforce. That is dependency ratio is more in our country. It can be reduced by slow down the birth rate. You can reduce it by slow down the birth rate. When we slow down the birth rate, then that burden will be reduced. Then only the dependency ratio will be reduced, because 30.7% it is more dependency ratio. Now, predominance of rural population. Predominance of the rural population. Here the ratio of rural urban population of a country is an index of the level of industrialization of that country. Here the ratio between the urban and rural population of a country is an index of the level of industrialization. It shows the index of the industrialization, because where number of people are living here in industrial areas, especially the industries are developed in the cities and the towns, but the urban areas population is very less, but the rural area population is more. So it is not favorable, it is also unfavorable. Now the Indian population is predominantly rural in nature, because India, it is a country of villages. So the population is predominantly the rural in nature, with 68.8% of people living in the villages. 68.8% of people are living in the villages, and remaining 31.2% of people are living in the cities and towns, in the urban areas. The process of urbanization is slow and it is very low. So process of urbanization is very low and it is very slower. Now the low quality of population. Low quality of population. Here the quality of the population can be measured or judged from education, skills, health level of the people. Here quality of the population can be judged by the education level, health condition and skill level. These are measured through literacy, skill attainments and life expectancy. Now the low literacy rate, literacy level in India is very low. Here in 2011, 74% of the people were literate, indicating more than 31 crores of people were not able to read and write. Here 31 crores of people are not able to read and write, because only 74% of the people are literate, and remaining 31 crores people, they are unable to read and write. The female literacy rate was still lower, just 65%. Female literacy rate was just 65%, and male literacy rate was 74%. Now the low level of education and training. Low level of education and training. Level of education and training is very low in India. Number of persons enrolled higher education as percentage of population in the age group of 20 to 25 years was 20.4%. Only 20.4% of people between the age group of 20 to 25 years are getting the higher education facilities. Only 20.4% of people are getting the higher education facilities. According to 2012, it is only 1/4 of the developed countries' involvement, while the number of doctors per thousand population is 0.7. Number of doctors per thousand population is only 0.7, and number of engineers per thousand population is 210. In 1000 population, 210 are only the engineers, and in 1000 population only 0.7% of population getting the degree of doctor degree. Now it is considered as less compared to the advanced countries. It is very less compared to advanced countries, because in 1000 only 1.7% of people are the doctors, and in per 1000 population only 210 people are the engineers. So that is a less, very less compared to other developed countries. Now the low life expectancy. Life expectancy is the number of years a person is expected to live life. Number of years a person is expected to live life, that is called as life expectancy. In India it was only 66 point. In our country it was only 65.8 years according to 2013, and which is lower compared to that of the developed countries. It is very lower. It was estimated in 2013 that the expectation of life expectancy was only 65.8 years, but it is very low compared to other advanced countries. Now the low work participation rate, ratio of working population to the total population, is referred to as work participation rate. This rate is very low in India, as at 39.8% in 2011. Only 39.8% are the working population, which indicate higher proportion of non-working population. Here only 39.8% of population is a working population, and remaining population is non-working population. So it indicates that higher proportion of non-working